to me once, and they said, I went to the grocery store and I wanted to use my coupons, and they wouldn't let me use my coupons because I had an EBT card. I want you to know that that cashier was 100% wrong in telling that person, those three people, that they could not use it. He used the word double dipping. He said, I can't take your coupon in your EBT card. That's just not right. You can't do that. He was so wrong. Okay? Now, just to show you what I'm doing in the neighborhood, those folks came to me. They never went and spoke to the people in the store. They didn't feel like they were comfortable enough to do that, to call the manager and talk to the manager. I did that for them, and at least, and I can't ever say that it will never happen again, but I can say this, that those three neighbors that I know, they know that they were right in what they were doing. They were trying to stretch their funds out by using coupons. That's a smart idea. It's an excellent idea. And so when somebody tells you something's wrong, sometimes you just got to go to the next level. And the manager of the store straightened that person out, and she said, oh my God, I didn't know. Well, she didn't know because people weren't comfortable enough in speaking up. So when I hear stuff like that, that just gets on me, and I'm right away, okay? You have some neighbors in the N.M. Scott Senior Center that had an issue come up in terms of their availability of the room, just like this, for them. This door, imagine if this door was locked and y'all could never get in here. Or you could only get in here once a month, or somebody came and opened it, and that was it. I think you'd be upset. That issue was going on over there, and I was able to help facilitate a solution for those folks because they were being kept out of their space. This is your home. You live here. This is your home. This is your real estate. You should have free and open access to it at all times. And I just couldn't imagine my mother, my auntie, being treated that way. And so we got in here, and again, we went from this level to that level until we got to somebody who was sensible and said, yes, we understand, and the problem was now solved. So if you have any friends over there, you can ask Mr. Frank Bannings, he'll tell you the story. One of the things just today I read in the paper that was upsetting to me about the commission was, you know, they've been, normally there are parts of the city that have these advisory boards, and you may know some friends that are on an advisory board, but let's say the Imperial Theater, okay, money goes there for the arts. They have an artistic board, and those people are supposed to have input, but they're regular people like you and me. Maybe they're an artist, but they're not an artist that's, you know, making millions. But there's someone that maybe is just interested in the arts. Well, these different boards, there's the Augusta Canal Authority. I have a friend who serves on that board. But what happens is money comes in from the federal or from state tax dollars to support these entities. And those boards are supposed to have regular folks like me and you on it, because people that manage the money up here sometimes don't really know what reality is down here as far as what the people want. So, right? So like with the Augusta Canal, for instance. Now, you know, if I ask you, what do you want the canal to be? For me, I like to have a walking path. I want to know that my tax dollars help make a safe walking path that I can walk on and enjoy the nature. Somebody else might say they want a bike path because they love biking. So a board is an entity, an advisory board is an entity where all of us can have a voice to say what we want done with our tax dollars. It's all about the tax dollars that y'all are paying in. Even though you're retired, you're still paying sales tax and whatever for those that are retired. And others that are not, you know, you're still getting it taken out of income and stuff. So these advisory boards are very important, and to me they're the vital connection between where the money comes in and how it goes out. And there's been this, I don't know what to call it, but there's this thought that they don't want to continue to have the advisory boards. And there's a question about it. And the first one was they had shut down the housing authorities by advisory board. I think that's really dangerous because that says to me that they no longer care about what the everyday person wants to know or has questions about how that money is going to get spent. It's just these people up here dealing with it. And they don't have the same perspective as the consumer does. So it's always really important to have that type of a board that reflects the consumer. Just today we heard that a motion failed at the commission and that Mr. Aiken, my opponent, is one of those people who did not vote in favor of it. He was not in favor of reinstating the advisory board. And when y'all meet with him, you can ask him about that because I don't know beyond what I read in the paper, but I was just very disappointed to hear that Mr. Lockett put forth a motion. It made sense. It reflects the will of the people to have a say about what happens to your tax dollars, and it failed in that committee. So I just want you to know that's one of the issues. One of the ways, or two of the things that I think go together in Augusta to make the stimulus, to make our economy really get kicked into gear again. Two of those things to me are jobs and job training and mass transit. We have so many jobs out at Fort Horner. And guess what? I don't know if you know, they had cut that bus line. To be blunt, was for the poor people and the older people, and that nobody else was interested. Somebody made that determination. It wasn't right, okay? It wasn't right. And if we had anybody in there with vision, they would have said, oh no, mass transit will keep us from getting polluted. It'll keep us from having to build so many parking garages. It'll keep us from having to spend so much money on maintenance of vehicles. They didn't have that vision, so for whatever reason, they kept defunding, and when money came in for transportation,
they built a parking deck.
They took it and put it in the general fund. And so I would like to see them fund the position of a director of transportation, because I think when you bring in somebody that's talented in that regard, they will think outside of the box. They'll find some more monies for us. They'll find some, these folks are good at finding grant money. Grant money is money that you don't have to repay. But grant money has to be transparent. It has to be done, followed through so everybody knows what's going on with that money. But let's get back to what you mentioned, with some needs, because that's what part of when I speak to people, I consider you one of my, what I call my listening tour, because I want to hear what other things are going on for you. And it sounds like that maybe there aren't very many activities happening here.
We have areas around us that have senior programs, grandmother programs, all types of programs. Augusta has never done anything with the seniors. They need some new blood on the board. You need somebody that's up to date, okay? And if it's not like that, seniors just sit. Every time we see somebody, they want us to vote for them. And I don't think it's fair.
Well, and that's good. You need to voice that.
We voice it. Well,
right. Right.
I'm voicing it now.
So the good part is that we have a nice senior rate for using public transit. But
that also and programs.
But you would like some programs to come here to this facility, or you need
for all seniors.
To invite people that aren't just in this building, but the public. Okay. So you think, and this is a pretty good size. You guys have a nice size. We start the forums where the candidates get to speak to the public in a formalized way. I will have an opportunity to share some of your thoughts, right? Somebody else will know that it's important to you, and maybe they will take up that banner and we'll get it to go. Because I started the bus issue back in 2009, and I'm not going to quit until I am able to get on that bus and go to stay downtown till 9, 10 o'clock, and until I can jump on that bus and get to Fort Horner, because I love the dinner theater myself. Your kitchen is my headquarters. Vote Denice Traina, District 1 Commissioner.